super quick Game of Thrones news update, and then the rest of the week is going to be a bunch of random Game of Thrones news videos that I did last week, but because it was Thanksgiving and I had family and stuff, I didn't release those videos. So this week's gonna kind of be a little bit of a shit show, but if you're a normal subscriber, you're used to this. Okay, spoilers for Game of Thrones or whatever in this video. Don't watch if you don't want spoilers. Blah, blah, blah. You've been warned. Watch your back. First, we have new casting calls for Jane Goldman's The Long Night, though not actually called The Long Night, prequel show. We know filming begins in the beginning of 2019, so a last scramble to get what they need to begin shooting is to be expected. So we have two casting calls. One is for two characters that come together. Twins. So the casting call is for real twins aged 23 to 29 to play twin sisters in their 20s on the show. And I know where your dirty little mind that I absolutely love, by the way, is going. No, I don't think these twins are going to participate in incest. I don't have anything that really says they do or don't. I just feel like it would be cliched to add that into this series, which doesn't mean they won't do it. I just hope they won't. You know, after writing that, I actually started to feel really bad for twins after Game of Thrones became very popular and mainstream. Poor bastards. If you are a twin and you're watching this video, let me know in the comment section down below if anyone's ever made some weird incest comments towards you because of Game of Thrones. I hope they haven't, but I'm kind of interested now. Next, there's a call for a man labeled A2 who will be a man in his 70s in the show. What made that listing juicier is what they are looking for. A man who is genuine Scandinavian, Eastern European, or German actor. As many have been quick to point out, most, not all, actors from these areas have played Wildlings on the show. Again, not all, like our two future Eskimo brothers. But let's lean into they are casting Wildlings. As we know, the wall wasn't built until the end of the Long Night to protect the realm from the others. That is leading some to calling this a proto-Wildling, which just got me excited to realize they'll probably show us the building of the wall and then the workers that get stuck on the other side at the end of the show. You know, if the pilot turns out to be really good and they order the whole series. I'm actually a tiny bit more excited for this show just to see the wall construction at the very end of the series. Maybe this is a character we grow to love if the pilot does well and we get a full series. He's helping out and then at the end, he's trapped on the wrong side of the wall. Unfortunately, it isn't immediately clear whether these castings are for regular series members or not. They could or could not be based on how it was listed. I'd lean more towards they're not, but we'll have to see. And as always, if you match any of those descriptions for the casting calls and you want to be a part of a Game of Thrones show, even if it's a spin-off show, get on that shit. I want to live through you. Moving on, Jorah's actor talked about the final season and his character. He is amazed Jorah has lived this long, stating, "I don't know how I survived this long. I got every disease known to man." He then revealed about the final season. April is when it's all coming out, and they're all feature-length episodes. 6 of them. Like 6 movies. Which, with all the information we've been given on the episodes in the final season, we know they're going to be at least 60 minutes. I doubt it's going to be 6 episodes, 2 hours each. But, and because I am a naive little girl on the inside, maybe we're looking at 90+ minute episodes for the final season. Next, David Nutter, a director for 3 of the 6 episodes in the final season of Game of Thrones, talked with Entertainment Weekly about Game of Thrones and the final season. Which, actually, this news came out after I recorded this video, so enjoy beautiful images of David for, like, a lot of minutes. So David Nutter's sexy bee scene here explained why he didn't direct any episodes in season 6 and 7, telling them, "After 2015, after the 5th season, I had a couple back surgeries and I missed seasons 6 and 7. And it broke my heart to do so. There are times when I'd be in excruciating physical therapy sessions and I'd be wondering if I'd ever have a chance to direct again, let alone direct Game of Thrones. Fortunately, I came back. I was all repaired. They welcomed me back with open arms. And not only welcomed me back with open arms, but welcomed me back to actually having me be involved in and direct 3 of the 6 episodes of Season 8. Which say a lot about D&D, both also sexy beasts appearing on your screen now, but that was a true bro move. Those guys always come across as super awesome whenever anyone talks about them. But on directing 3 of the final 6 episodes of the final season, as he said in his response, he revealed how he feels about that honor, saying, "I'm just so honored to be involved in the material because it's so wonderfully written. It's so wonderfully performed. It's so tremendously executed. Just to be part of that world is a dream come true. Showrunners David and Dan are wonderful to work with. They're just such great collaborators as well as teachers and mentors. In many respects for me, it's just getting a chance to be involved in what they're doing." Which, again, high praise for D&D. Interestingly, he talked about filming fake scenes, as was the constant rumor going around about this final season. Apparently, he did know when he was filming fake scenes, according to this interview, though he has said differently elsewhere, so I'm not sure what's up with that. Maybe he's lying, maybe he doesn't want to look dumb, who knows. He also talked about security on set for the final season, something he's talked about before, and how crazy it was. He repeated what he said in other interviews, stating, "Well, sometimes there were paparazzi in amazing places, on construction cranes and all kinds of crazy places, to try to get a point of view of things. They were all over, everywhere, trying to get in on what was happening. But it was definitely a situation where there was no paper on the set. That type of thing. The production team wanted to make sure nobody knew what was happening, and they went to the 9th degree, like they do on the show in general. They basically take it to the point where it's like the Gestapo. It's tough to get answers." Interesting though, despite David saying all that, we did get a lot of great leaked photos and videos, so they tried their hardest, but...
Life, finds a way.
Oh, and since he knows how the series ends, he was asked what he would tell fans who have theories on the ending. "All I know is that David and Dan spent a lot of time to tell the story in a proper fashion, and the audience will be completely satisfied. Not everybody will be satisfied, but I feel the audience will be satisfied with the direction the series goes. It lives up to all the building it's coming to. I promise you that." Now, satisfaction with how the show ends is something I've talked about a lot. It doesn't matter how masterful the end is, people will bitch, you can't avoid that. Not only do you have people that will be disappointed with how one of their favorite characters' story ends, but we still have the people that have decided this show is shit, the writing is shit, and no matter what the show does, this show will remain shit, and anyone who thinks differently is wrong. Which I think is just the best. Because people get so aggressive if they like or dislike something, and you feel the opposite. Okay, onwards. On directing the opening episode of Season 8 and how he prepared for it, and if he watched old episodes, he responded, "There's definitely some of that. To me, it was all about living up to Jeremy Podeswa, a GOT director. He's done some amazing season openers, most notably Season 7. He's a tremendous friend and a great director. I was hoping I can live up to his great work." All this love for each other is just the best, sorry. Lastly, he was asked what it was like seeing where the show is now since he's been part of Game of Thrones since Season 2. "It's interesting getting a chance to work with all the actors. Sophie, when she first met the Hound and was in Westeros, has now grown into a formidable queen in her own right and respect. Arya, who's gone from this little kid who wanted to be noticed and seen to very formidable in her own right. The growth of those family members has been a lot of fun, and getting a chance to work with new exciting actors and fun people as well has been a real pleasure. Things like the Daznak Pit, and of course the Walk of Shame and the Red Wedding were highlights to my career. It's something I'll never forget." Yeah, this monster did the Red Wedding and loved it. I just want you all to know that. Or be reminded of that. Alright, now I'm going to piece this bit of last minute news masterfully into the rest of the video I already completed, and I'm sure this isn't gonna be a disaster. Lastly, George informed us that he hasn't finished Fire and Blood Volume 2 and that it isn't his priority right now. Next, he's working on The Winds of Winter, or rather, right now, if we believe him when he says he's in a secret location writing the book. After Winds is finished, he isn't sure what he'll do next. He thinks maybe he'll move on to A Dream of Spring, or maybe even write more Dunk and Egg stories. He's admitted there's a lot of stuff to write. Oh, and George was super bummed that there was no porn in Middle-earth, or at least Tolkien never gave any sauce on it, which is why George added porn to his World of Ice and Fire. God, I love you, George. All right, some more random Game of Thrones news videos this week. I'm really sorry how that all worked out, but like, subscribe, and let me know in the comment section down below if you could have any Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire character as your sibling. Which one would it be? That you don't fuck.